And we can see on the screen that outside the electoral committee, there's a crowd, and it seems there's also, for the second consecutive day, a high turnout. That people are crowded, and from the early hours of the morning, this is the second consecutive day. The election started yesterday, the 10th, and it continues today, and also tomorrow, Tuesday. There was a very high turnout, and the National Authority Election Authority said that yesterday there was a very high turnout, and we saw really in all governorates a crowd of people and a number of citizens, a large number of citizens, among them are youth, women, children, whole families are participating in casting their ballots, which really showed how the Egyptians are keen and eager to fulfill their national duty and their constitutional right. Also, there was a very tight security measures securing the committees. Also, most of all the committees have opened yesterday and also today, the second day, on time, which starts on every day for 3 days, from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. By night. And there are 15,000 chancellors who are monitoring or supervising the elections. With the committee's number are 11,639 committees. Well, to shed more light on the election process, we have the pleasure to have this phono with our dear guest, Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, Minister Commercial. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you and to the viewers.
Your Excellency, how now we are in the second consecutive day. It is past 9 a.m. and the committees have opened on time today, the second day of the elections. How did you follow the elections process since yesterday?
I am pleased to see that hundreds, thousands, and whole families are going to election committees, election booths, and this is a good symptom that the Egyptians are clear in their stand to choose their ruler for the next 6 years. It is very good when we see throngs, a lot of the boys and girls of age, of course, going together for the election process, and we have seen it until 8 o'clock in the evening, since 9 o'clock, and long queues were waiting, and we hope that today the queues will be finished very quickly, because the election committee has already supplied the election booths with more staff, more judges, and also with more boxes. That is a good thing to make it easy, smooth, and quick for all the people, especially in the winter.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Ayoub, as we saw yesterday, there was 3 press conferences during the day yesterday at 10:30 in the morning, and 4:30 by noon, and 9:30 by 9 p.m. During the press conferences, the National Electoral Authority said that there was a very high turnout, and approximately said that around 5 million were casting their ballots only yesterday. So how did you see this?
This is a very positive attitude of the people towards the election process. The 5 million of yesterday, I hope there will be 50 today, or at least 15 today, because we need to assert our attitude and our position that we have the future in our hands by selecting our own ruler. All the people should go to election and cast their votes They are very smooth, and I have seen it very smooth and quick. It takes just a minute, despite everything, and I see that many people are going and coming back happy that they have done it and they succeeded in casting their vote. So election committee is doing a good job, and hope that the turnout will be more today than yesterday.
Yes, Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, also the participation of youth, the long queues of Egyptian women standing in long queues in order to cast their ballots. How does this show of the awareness of the Egyptian women and youth?
It is something which is heartening and makes us happy that they are taking their decisions and they are taking their future in their own hand. When you see the young boys, women, and men, and young going to the election booths and standing for some time in this weather, insistent on casting their vote, is something very positive that the people want to say yes to this candidate, and it's something which we are very happy with because they are in big numbers, and I hope that today and tomorrow also we will finish about 60 million, complete the 60 million voters in these elections.
Yes, yesterday during the press conferences held for the National Electoral Authority, Elections Authority, we saw that they are via video conference speaking to the chancellors, the councillors, and the judges in the committees in the Red Sea, for example, in Upper Egypt, in several governorates around Egypt, and all of them said that the election process is going very smoothly, and even in the subcommittees and everything is very good. Yet the citizens were complaining of the very slow of the process because the committees were so crowded. So how did you see this? How did this show of the awareness of the Egyptian people and they're eager to make their constitutional right and their national duty?
This is something really, I'm happy with it. When we see long queues in Marsa Matruh, or in Siwa, or in Eastern Desert, in Rafah, and in other places, in Arish and in Risi or Gada, the places which I am familiar with, they are going, in hundreds are going to election booths to cast their vote. This means that the people are keen to cast their vote. People are keen to show their strength, if I can say strength, and at the same time, it is our legal rights, constitutional rights, and it is the duty that every and each Egyptian who is eligible to elect goes to elections and cast his vote today and tomorrow. It is very important for us to decide our own future.
Yes, also Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, the very well organized elections or the committees, as we see, everything is very is being handled, I mean. How did you see this? Also, the security measures taking place inside the committees and outside even?
In fact, outside Egypt has begun a bit earlier in our embassies overseas, even at New Zealand, as far as New Zealand. And when it comes to Egypt, we see that the security persons themselves are guiding the citizens, guiding the voters to the right way, to the right committee, to make their casting vote easier and simpler, and it takes a short time. So the security forces play a role in organizing everything so that it will be a model elections in the history, in the recent history of Egypt, and all the Egyptians should go and cast their votes today and tomorrow, because it is a chance for us to say what we want, whom we want, and I hope that this will reflect in the next 6 years in a positive way.
Yes, the importance of, as we saw yesterday on TV channels, that the public figures are casting their ballots. The candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We also saw the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, the Pope Tewodros II casting his ballot, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, also the head of the Senate. You know, public figures, even actors and actresses, sportsmen, everyone in Egypt was yesterday very keen on the first day to cast his ballot. So give us an idea about this.
It is really lovely to see that these leading figures in the community are going to cast their votes in the first day. And this is by itself a good model for other citizens to cope and go. Cope with what the leaders are doing and go and cast their votes. When the head of the church and the head of Al-Azhar University is going there, Rabbi Imam of Al-Azhar is going and casting a vote, this means that the followers should go and cast their vote today and tomorrow. It is very important that we prove that we are up to the standard of responsibility. It is a responsibility of each Egyptian to go and cast his vote in this election, because it will decide our future for the next 6 years.
Yes, Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, also there are 15,000 judges supervising the elections. So what is the importance of this full supervision of the judges on the electoral process?
This is very important, so that everything in order and according to the law. When 16,000, not 100,000 judges are in the committees and overseeing, and sometimes there are more than one judge in the committee, because it's a big committee. This means that the Ministry of Justice is keen to ensure the smooth and correct process of election at this stage, and at the same time prevent any malpractice, and at the same time also preventing any rumors or false accusations, because the judges are there and they can decide this is according to the law and according to the regulations. So we thank the Ministry of Justice for this step, and thank the 16,000 judges who are in these committees for today and tomorrow.
Yes, Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, you were speaking about the elections that took place abroad since the 1st of December until the 3rd of December. Concerning the expatriates casting their ballots abroad, we also saw a high turnout in several electoral committees around the world, in the Egyptian embassies and consulates, and on televised interviews. We saw Egyptian citizens speaking on camera and saying that they drove for their cars for 4 and 5 hours in order to reach to the capital and the Egyptian consulate in the city, in the country they are staying in order to cast their ballots with their family. What does this show?
It is a positive sign of the Egyptians, because these are the Egyptians. When they have hope, they travel for 5 or 6 hours by on road to reach the casting station, and this is something very, very important, because it shows that the people want to say, this is the president whom we want, and we are backing him and we are supporting him. And when we see that from New Zealand, as far as New Zealand, from the United States and Canada, most of the Egyptians there are traveling a long distances, as you mentioned, to cast their vote, is something very positive. and take
Yes.
positive stand from their parts.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information. Your Excellency Ambassador Ayoub Mahmoud Ayoub, Minister Commercial, thank you very much for joining us over the phone.